Welcome back to Type 40 for Whovember here. I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's King of the Geeks. I'm back with John Youlden too. Back like a bad penny, mate.
You can't get rid of me now.
So yeah, I'm glad you're here, because I'm wondering if my eyes are deceiving me, mate. Because I've seen the latest trailer, and I think I've spotted something. I might have spotted something, but I might not have spotted something or someone. A Doctor Who icon in particular. But I was wondering, were you an 80s kid?
I was an 80s kid, and I think I know what you're referring to.
So, yes, on the 25th of October, 2023, the BBC and Bad Wolf announced the air dates, didn't they, for those 3 60th anniversary specials that we're going to be getting finally. So that's the Star Beast, airing on Saturday, the 25th of November, Wild Blue Yonder on Saturday, the 2nd of December, and then the Giggle rounds it all off on Saturday, the 9th of December, there too. David Tennant stars in that with Catherine Tate. And among others, there's Jacqueline King. She's there. Yasmin Finney too. And Neil Patrick Harris, of course, as the toy maker. Now, on this occasion, on the 25th, when the BBC announced all that, Disney, they chose to very much launch their entire promotional campaign, because people had been wondering on social media and in the fandom generally, John, do Disney even know this is coming themselves, because they've been so quiet about it? What were you thinking about that?
I felt it was so slow that I would have thought they would have been hitting it a lot earlier. I would have thought they would have put the trailer out, a few weeks back. But it finally arrived, and it's good for worldwide viewers that they get to see it. Yeah, that certain scene that I think we might be linking to. Yeah, I'm very happy.
How it's been explained to me, John, is that over on Disney Plus and all streaming platforms, it doesn't work in the same way that an analog TV station does. And that, for example, when BBC One launches a new season, and they advertise it normally on August Bank Holiday Monday, don't they? And they put together a package trailer. There's lots of clips for all the shows you're going to get between September, sometimes as late as December in the run-up to Christmas. You get a clip of this, that, and the other. And but streaming platforms, they don't work on the same principle. Apparently, they operate in blocks. So roughly about 8 weeks, particularly Disney Plus, they don't want people sort of anticipating what they may be getting in November if they've got 8 weeks of some terrible Marvel show that they want to drop to people one show a week for 2 months before. They want people focused on what's there rather than what's coming at some point in the future. Now, I can understand that up to a point.
Short-term thinking, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is short-term thinking. But then again, as I understand it, their business model does mean that when you subscribe to Disney Plus, you do it month by month. You don't sign up for I suppose you can sign up for a full year, but mostly people who have Disney Plus, they have it for a couple of months at a time, don't they? And then they may drop it. Is that how you receive it as well? Yeah,
I perceive that the same way. But I would certainly say, with regards to getting subscribers, especially with the Marvel and the Star Wars shows, that the evidence is out that the viewing figures are dropping for those at the moment, and the subscriber numbers for Disney Plus are dropping. You would think, right, they've done a deal with the BBC to broadcast or air the Doctor Who series. They've signed that deal. If you want to get subscribers in, promote it to the hilt. Blast that advert, that trailer everywhere. Get it out, get it to as many people as possible. Because yes, the last few years with Doctor Who wasn't a successful period for it, but the name Doctor Who worldwide is still known, and it's still a massive thing.
You're quite right. And obviously Disney Plus is a huge platform. Disney is a massive brand name, probably one of the biggest brands in the world. And although the BBC talk a very good and sometimes big game, they're in some respects they're quite a small fish in the pond, aren't they? And so to have Disney launching their wing of the Doctor Who 60th anniversary event, this is going to get the message out to a considerably larger audience. And this was made clear to me when I looked over on their social medias and saw, Disney Plus, this was on the 25th.
Yeah.
And they launched it with this tweet: after 60 years, the TARDIS is landing on Disney Plus Stream 3 Doctor Who original special starting November the 25th. And if you look, this was within 3 hours. You see the amount of people who had liked that, had reposted it, had commented on it. This is a massive platform with such huge reach compared to the BBC's.
Totally. And it's good to see, because although, as I've mentioned, I wasn't a fan of the last era, Russell T Davies brought the show back, and he's getting my positivity to a high level with what I've seen in the trailers so far, how things are starting to build now. So getting that out to a worldwide potential viewership is a big positive for the show. So
there was a new trailer on the 25th as well from Disney with their own sort of house style of graphics and logos and things like that. But when you actually watch it, although the clips or the footage in there is arranged differently, it is 99% of it is stuff we've seen before, isn't it? Did you notice that?
Yeah, exactly. I think there's two bits that are different in it, and there's one that obviously the big thing will and there's something else I saw that was kind of 45 seconds in, which looked different. Is that the bit where the 14th Doctor is getting out of that van and there's all the soldiers coming with him? Actually, no, I didn't see that bit. One bit so one bit I did see was it was an extended scene. I hadn't seen it in the BBC trailer, but it looked like Donna and the Doctor are in almost like a doll's house. So in the BBC trailer, you've got the toy maker, with the strings coming down from the roof, which is a great shot. I love that. But then it almost feels like this is added on to it, because it looks like almost that they're running down a corridor in a doll's house, and that's 45 seconds into that trailer. I did see that. Now you mentioned it. So very strange. Great. Yeah. Talking about running, though, there was one particular moment, wasn't there, where somebody else was doing the running for a change. It wasn't the Doctor, it was the villain. And Neil Patrick Harris playing the toy maker, dressed as a sort of toy soldier. He looks a bit... I don't mean this to sound cruel, because I'm really looking forward to what Neil's going to do with this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But it reminded me a little bit of Lazy Town. Did you ever see that show? Have you got kids? Yeah. It's had the energy of Lazy Town about it. Behind the toy maker, we see a blurry figure, which does seem to be Mel Bush, played by Bonnie Langford. Did you see this? Yeah, it's Mel, and I'm looking forward to seeing Mel in the story, in the episode. I wasn't a big fan in the 80s of Mel, and that wasn't anything against Bonnie Langford. I think it was more to do with the writing at the time. But I'm so supportive of Bonnie Langford. She's always positive. She's always friendly to the Doctor Who community. Yeah. It's just great to see her back. She does seem like a really lovely person, and a bit of a national treasure too. Bonnie's 59 years of age now. Her real name is Bonita Melody Lizette Langford. And she's been an actress, dancer, and singer since she was about 11 years old, something like that. A child star all the way through the 70s. A prominent role on the show Just William, which I've never, ever seen. But in the 80s, she played Mel Bush in Doctor Who for just over a year on screen, but across 2 incarnations of the Doctor, and has played the role again on Big Finish several times now, hasn't she? She's very much back in from the cold, even before the news broke that she would be playing an active part in Series 14 next year. We've seen her out on location, haven't we? Filming the shoot at Gatwa. Yeah, I do love that image. That's great. She looks like she's having an absolute blast there, doesn't she? Yeah, she really does. So, like you say, back in the day, you weren't particularly a fan of Mel. To be fair, though, not many fans were they? She got a cold reception, and it wasn't necessarily anything personal. It was just the circumstances at the time that she was cast, and all manner of other things, wasn't it? She stepped into a real storm that the show was going through such a bad time. Yeah, and as we know from that time, she was kind of there just to scream in a lot of those stories, and she had a good scream. We'll give her credit for that. I'm just looking forward to seeing what Russell T Davies does with Mel and Bonnie Langford, because it's proven over the years Bonnie Langford can act. It's just giving her the script and given us something fresh to do and
to latch onto, so she can bring that character to life. I mean, I never thought she was particularly a bad actress. In fact, I thought in Terror of the Vervoid she was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a great deal for her to get a teeth into the rest. We've seen her in several dramas since, but particularly a 3-year stint on EastEnders, which I did see some of. And I was really impressed by her performance in that as Carmel. So I'm actually really excited to see her come back to Doctor Who and to re-meet Mel and see the person who she's now become, played by this performer who's matured so well.
Yeah, and I'm wondering now whether this is part of the Russell T Davies plan as well, that going forward we won't just see Bonnie Langford, we will see, there he is, the crafty so-and-so. We won't just see Bonnie Langford, but where there's been talk before about, rightly or wrongly, you can't bring classic Doctors back because of how old they look now compared to when they were last in the show. Well, you can do that with companions now. You can bring them back. So I wouldn't be surprised going forward in the series that we start seeing some more companions from the past that will pop up.
Even though this hasn't been confirmed officially, I think that this is pretty conclusive that is Mel there with all the rose petals floating around. Heaven knows what mess she's in. Can't wait to find out. She got shortchanged again in the absolutely awful Power of the Doctor special last year. I suppose you could say that at least she was in it. Lots of companions weren't in it at all. But in all honesty, I think to get a performer of Bonnie Langford's caliber and to just have her sat nodding her head for a split second on screen, there's a little bit of an indignity. I'm hoping that this could be a return really worth waiting for, and that the character's going to grow over the next 6, 12 months. Just I would imagine, though, that because Mel's in, does that mean that Osgood is out of unit? What do you think?
I think so. I will say I really hope Mal is a computer specialist for unit.
Has to be, doesn't it?
Has to be. So, RTD's not going to let me down on that.
If you're bringing her back, you've got to make it worth her while, and you've got to not so much retrieve this character or redeem the character, but I think you've certainly got to give a class act performer a loyal personality like Bonnie Langford. As you said, she's been loyal to Doctor Who, even if it wasn't necessarily always kind to her or good to her career. She's always been respectful of it and encouraging of the fans, and therefore for her to come back, it has to be really worth it. So fingers crossed, this is a great return for Bonnie Langford as Melanie Bush. It seems to me this is certain to be part of that final special, The Giggle, that's airing on Saturday, the 9th of December. Particularly as that's the toy maker there. He's wearing the soldier's outfit again. Would you say that that's the case, or are you expecting to see her across all three? What do you think?
I think primarily she'll be in The Giggle, but I think we might see possible cameos in the 2 before.
Who knows? So Bonnie Langford is back as Melanie Bush sooner rather than later. It seems sooner than we expected. Let us know what you think of that. Were you a fan back in the day? You never understood what all the fuss was about. Are you happy to see Bonnie Langford back now, even if you weren't then? And do you think she's going to be in multiple specials? What on earth has happened to Osgood? Will you miss her if Ingrid Oliver is back as the previous support character from Unit, or do you think that she's probably out of time and it's best to move on and go back at the same time? Am I contradicting myself? Probably. But so let us know in the comments section by all means. Yes, I'd say this has to be conclusive proof, but been wrong before. We shall see. So thanks again for joining me on this one, John. Where can people reach out to you on social media again?
I'm on Facebook under my name, as it's shown here, John Youlden, and you can also find me on Twitter, X, as John Youlden as well. So come say hi. There'll
be more Type 40 for Whovember coming up. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications about what's coming next. Leave us a comment, your thoughts on the returns of Melanie Bush. We're all ears.